Okay. Okay. So is the screen visible to all? I have shared a PDF. Is it visible to all?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay. 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 As a subject itself specifies digital signal processing algorithms and architectures. So in this one, you'll be dealing with some of the aspects which are related to digital signal processing and the algorithms which are used for that purpose, and what are the different architectures which are utilized, say in the form of hardware architecture and the software aspects. So those we'll be discussing in this part. Coming down to introduction to digital signal processing. So I'm not into the module yet. So maybe tomorrow I'll be getting into the module. So in already you have gone through digital signal processing subject, DSP. So what do you think? What are the basic things you have come across in DSP? Can you just name few of the things what you have learned in DSP? One of you just unmute and you can just talk. So what are the things you have learned in DSP? Okay. Shoaib, can you unmute and just tell something? Shoaib Multani. Even if it is say wrong, it doesn't matter. Just give an attempt. Santosh Hampanavar. Shoaib, please talk. Shoaib, you can just tell. So if you interact, then I'll get to know, okay, whether it is going on well or not. Otherwise, it becomes difficult for me to identify whether the class is going on or only I am the speaker. Shoaib, what are the things you have learned? Yeah, can you just give some information or can you share some knowledge what you have gained in digital signal processing? So just few things what you have learned.
So digital signal processing. So we use discrete signals for processing, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anything you learned over there apart from these things? What are the processing things you have learned over there?
I'm not remembering now, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? What are the processing aspect what you dealt over there or processing concepts? Nayana Davi, please unmute yourself and you can talk. So anybody else? So if you don't reply, I think it will be a one-way session. It will be a one-way road. Okay. Yeah, so have you come across something called as DFT, FFT, then DCT? Have you come across these things? Fourier series or something? Have you come across these all terms? So those are the processing aspects. Say transformation is one aspect. Apart from that, I think you have studied even filters, right? IR, FIR filters. Then apart from that, you dealt with so many other concepts on how to design those filters. What are the different kinds of filters which are present? So those are the aspects what we have dealt in DSP. That is the processing elements, processing concepts what we have dealt with digital signal processing. So now Little bit same things will be coming over here itself. But what we'll be doing is we'll be going ahead in terms of say the algorithms and the architectures which are utilized for those purposes. Now you had come across the term like DFT, and then you came across the term like FFT. So there is slight difference on how DFT can be made, let's say how the results of DFT can be obtained in a much faster way using FFT algorithms. So that is what you had dealt. If you remember, you had used something called as radix 2 method in order to obtain those implement the FFT aspects, and then you had come across something called as bit reversed addressing. So when I have to implement this, what changes in the architecture have to be present, and when if you are just seeing that you are doing some parallel processing, you have to compute multiple results at single time and utilize it for the next stage. Say in the butterfly diagrams, if you have seen it, so there'll be say depending on how many sequences are there, depending on n. So based on that, they'll be trying to identify what changes have to be done. So those all again I'll be dealing in the module first module. So this is just a discussion what we are having. So now, what do you think that what are the concepts which are related to digital signal processing? So that already I have specified over here. That is first thing, you have to deal with analog electronics. Then apart from that, you have to deal with the digital electronic concepts. And lastly, you have to come across with signals and systems. So without this, you cannot directly jump to DSP. So you should understand these things and then come to DSP. So that is the concepts or the prerequisites for digital signal processing. So already you have undergone all these three things. That is analog electronics, digital electronics, and signals and systems. And then previously in last to last semester, you have dealt with the digital signal processing. So when I overall specify what are the concepts related to DSP algorithms and architectures, or the prerequisites for going ahead with DSP algorithms and architectures, is you should know what is analog electronics and what all things come over there. Then you should know what are the concepts related to digital electronics or the logic design aspects. And then how do you use the signals and systems approaches in order to say, if I want to identify whether the system given is a LTI system. So in that case, I have to come across with the signals and systems approaches. Then I want to see, say how the frequency response is, how the system behaves. Then I should know where the poles and zeros falls of a system. So those are things what you have to deal with. And another concept which comes is the DSP concept in order to understand the overall DSP architecture and algorithm. Okay. So these are the things which are the prerequisite for DSP, and then the prerequisites for DSPA, that is DSP algorithms and architecture. So now coming down to this aspect, that is DSP. So as the name itself specifies, digital signal processing. So here, if you just see, it has to do 3 or 4 things together. So it has to deal itself with something called as processing. So processing of what? You have to process a signal. Now, what kind of signal you are dealing under DSP? You have to deal with digital signal. Now, do you get a digital signal directly? In many of the cases, can anyone just share some information regarding this? Do I get a digital data directly? Now what I'm doing is I'm communicating with you on the Zoom platform, but I am making use of a microphone. I'm making use of a microphone. I am making use of a microphone. So now my voice is being captured by the microphone in the form of electrical pulses. These electrical pulses or electrical signals are nothing but analog signals. So these signals are given to the system, and the system, what it does is it does the conversion of analog signal to digital signal. So once that signal is obtained, you have to do some processing on that digital signal. So that processing might be say removal of few parameters. It may be before the before conversion of digital also some processing has to be done, and after conversion also some processing has to be done. So here what it might be, you have to say you want to transmit the coefficients of the signal what you have obtained. So in order to do that, then what you do is you have to implement the transform, say whether it is DFT or FFT concept, and you have to convert that, then you get the coefficients and transmit the coefficients. So depends on what you're implementing. So then I have to send this information to you, then I have to send it in, say I do modulation on that, and then send that signal, then again it is received at the other end. Then what happens is again the conversion process takes place, and again you are hearing my voice on the headphone or whatever device you are using as the output device. So in that case, what is happening, again digital to analog conversion is happening. So in this entire approach, if you see that, what is happening is, in order to get a digital signal, in many of the cases, first the signal will be analog, then you have to convert it into digital form, and then you process that signal as per your requirement. Say what implementation, say if you want to filter or do something else, so based on that you process the signal. So that is what DSP implies. Okay, so that is what I have given here. So you have an analog signal. What you do is you convert it into digital signal. So if I have to convert an analog signal to digital signal, can anyone tell what are the process involved? Can anyone just let me know? What are the processes involved? Pratik, Akole, can you just tell me what will be the processes involved in order to convert an analog signal to a digital signal? Pratik? Pratik? How many of you have just started the session and left your mobile or laptop there itself? If you're not replying, then I doubt. Pratana Shanvi?
Sir.
Can you just tell me, in order to convert a signal from analog to digital, what all things or what all processes are involved?
Sir, we use analog to digital converter, sir. So there will be some kind of threshold, sir. So if the signal crosses that threshold, it is considered as 1, sir. Or else if it is below the threshold, it is considered as 0, sir.
Okay. So what is that process called as? Anybody?
Sir, I don't remember, sir.
Okay. Have you heard about sampling and quantization, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Then, so if I have to convert a signal from analog to digital, what I have to do is I have to use the concept of sampling first and then apply quantization. So which you have studied in digital communication. So you come across in digital communication. So there you are doing this conversion. So that process is involved. Then after that, what I do is, so I process the digital signal what I have obtained in this step with whatever process I have to look out for. And what happens is once the signal has been processed, I say either transmit it or store it or do whatever I want with that signal. Now, suppose I want to get back the signal, say my voice has to be heard by you on the microphone or any of the output device on the speaker. So then what has to happen is the signal has to be converted back to analog form. So it has been sent in the digital form. Now again I have to convert it back in the analog form. So that is what DSP might involve. So conversion of analog to digital and then process it. So up to this point also I can just conclude that okay, we are doing these things. So this depends on how the output you want. Whether you want to just see the result on the screen on your laptop, then what happens is it will be displayed in the form of a digital form. Okay. Okay. So that is what is specified. So as we can just look ahead, DSP itself involves performing some mathematical operations on the signals what you have obtained. Say the voice signal is there, I want to amplify it. So if I have to amplify it, I have to say pass it through an amplifier which performs, which applies some gain information to that and then amplifies the signal and then sends it. So this might be done, say, taking the digital signal and say processing that signal. So some mathematical operations will be involved. Now, one of the aspect what I have come across in DSP is, say, for example, you are doing, say, convolution. I think you have come across this thing. You are using convolution, right? So in that, what all mathematical operations come into existence is you will be having two signals which will be multiplied with each other. That is one aspect. Then apart from that, you'll be adding those signals. So if it is a discrete signal, you will be adding it. If it is a continuous signal, what you'll be doing is you will be integrating it. But since we are dealing with the digital aspect, right, we'll be using the summation this thing. So it will be adding. So adding is multiplying is one mathematical operation. Adding is another mathematical operation. And last operation, if you just remember, is you had the equation if x of n convolved with h of n, if that is the case. So in that, you presented it as summation x of m into h of n minus m, something in this form, right? So that this thing, is it happening for all? Is the voice breaking for all? Because one person is specifying that the voice is breaking. Somebody can reply back.
No, sir, it's proper.
I think then it's the net problem at the other end. Okay, if something is happening over there, it's a net problem at the other end. So just sit in a location where signal strength is good. If you are having these problems, okay. And if you have a LAN, this thing better go for LAN. If not possible, then Wi-Fi. This thing is better. Okay, so just check out with your network connections if you are having problem. So continuing with this, these are the mathematical operations, and another operation what we do is we do something called as shifting operation. So these are the mathematical operations which we perform on these signals. So next, what we do is since we have to deal with digital these things, we have to do the conversion from analog to digital. So in this process, what we are doing is we are including the concept of sampling. So when we do the sampling, right, we get a sequence of samples of the signals what we have. So that is what you're dealing in DSP. In majority of the terms what you had dealt, you had taken the signal as x of n or h of n or y of n. So where n implies that it's a sequence, it's a discrete signal, and it's a sequence of that signal what you have considered. So that has to be incorporated when you're doing DSP. So this overall together, what it terms is it is nothing but you'll be making use of the concept related to the analog to digital converter, that is ADC. That is, you'll be passing it through sampler, and then if I want the digital representation, I'll be assigning some zeros and ones to the samples what I have got. So that is what happens in ADC. Now, if I have to get back the signal in its analog form, then I have to use the digital to analog converter concept. So this is what happens in terms of DSP. So any clarification up to this point? So it is just a discussion on what you have already studied. Any clarification? Anyone can just reply back. Anyone can just reply back. Is it fine, or should I continue with the next this thing?
Continue, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now you might be doing some analog processing also. In analog communication, you have studied so many concepts. So now in digital this thing, you came across with digital processing. So whenever you consider digital processing, right, it has some pros as compared to the analog processing. So what happens is digital processing is more immune to the noise which is present. So it is more immune to the noise. Then what happens is we'll be able to deal with something called as predictable and reproducible behavior of the signals. Then apart from that, what happens is we can use those digital processing techniques in the programmable form. In analog, what happens is you should have a sensor, actuator, and then process that signal. And now what we can do when we have digital processing is we can take that signal, we can store it, and later I can process it using the programming concepts what we have. So what happens is, even if you're using a microcontroller has to deal with the signals in the form of digital only. So input from a sensor, for example, if it is in the say I'm trying to measure the intensity, so that intensity information will be present in the form of voltages. So directly I cannot take that result and give it to microcontroller and ask to perform some things. So what will be done is that voltage value will be taken and it will be broken down into a digital form, and that digital information will be given to the microcontroller. So once that microcontroller receives that digital information, I can then process that signal. So that is what programmability implies here. And then what happens is, for example, if I take if I take that is the reduced size and cost. So what this implies is, if you consider analog processing, so whenever you have an analog signal, what happens is, for example, if I want to store an analog signal, it would be it would be requiring a very huge amount of memory. I would require a huge amount of memory to store that analog signal. But whereas when you compare it with the digital signal, right, you are taking samples of these analog signals and then you are storing it. But that sampling has to be done with according to some rules which we call as Nyquist theorem or Shannon sampling theorem. So that has to be satisfied. So when we consider digital signal, right, as compared to analog signal, storing of digital signal will require a less amount of memory space. So if memory space has been reduced, then this is just one example what I am taking. If memory space has been reduced, then actually the size of the system also gets reduced. So apart from this, we have other concept. What are the hardware required in order to process the analog signal? What are the hardware required for processing the digital signal? So those all also add on to reducing the size of the system. So when these all things come, say if I want to purchase say 1 TB hard disk, what is the price? I think it is around some 4,000, 5,000 something is there. So if I want to purchase a 2 TB hard disk, it is around 6,000, 7,000. So for storing analog signal, if I am taking that information and storing it in some storage element, so the cost of those elements are very high. Whereas if I take digital this thing and if I want to store it, the cost of that also gets reduced. Now it is just not in terms of storing the data, it is also in terms of since the size gets reduced, naturally the cost of all the other elements also gets reduced. That is, overall implementation also gets reduced. So these are just few advantages of digital processing over the analog processing. Now, a few of the examples of DSP systems, already you have come across these terms. So these are just few things what I am telling. I think you have studied automotive electronics, majority of you. I think it was open elective, and almost all the students have taken open elective as automotive electronics. So in that automotive domain, right, you might have come across with say lane departure warning system, or pedestrian identification, or obstacle identification, or you might have done some experiments which are related to or mini projects which are related to those kind of examples. So in that, if you just imagine that you require image processing in such cases, it is not only here itself, but image processing, if you just see, if you go to say hospitals, and you want to get some scanning done. So in that scanning, what happens is they capture the image in using a different image acquisition system. Say if I want a X-ray, I have to use a X-ray tube in order to throw the X-ray, and then those fall on the X-ray sheet, and then the image gets captured over there. But what happens is nowadays, instead of that, directly into the system, we are able to see the X-rays instead of that old kind of photographic element what we used to get. So now directly into the system means it throws the light, it captures, and it gives that information back to the system. So system stores that information in terms of in terms of pixels. So when it is storing in terms of pixels, and I want to analyze something in that. For example, I want to I want to know, say I have taken a chest X-ray, and I want to understand whether the lungs are free from any of the say a mucus which is present. Say there is no blockage in those things. So if I want to estimate the percentage, so somebody is having some breathing problem due to the blockages what are present in the lungs, then how do I estimate? I try to identify where all things are there. So medically I try to identify those things. So there, that is another way, another the thing where DSP system comes into existence. So apart from that, we have speech and audio systems which deal with those things. Then we can have all of you have seen modems, that is modulator and demodulator. These are nothing but the internet this things what you have. So even in those cases, what happens is since we have to operate at different speeds and other stuffs, in those also we come across with the DSP systems. So these are just a few things to name, and it can continue with any of the domain what you specify. If you specify remote sensing, again their image processing might come into existence, which might be using a DSP system. So these are just few things to inform you all. So is it fine up to this point? Uh, is it fine up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll then continue with the next part. Okay, so next is a typical block diagram, which is very short in its nature. That is DSP system. This is very brief. This thing, it is not the overall. So overall DSP system you will be coming across in module 1. So this is just a brief or a typical block diagram of a DSP system. So when I speak of DSP system, what all things can come in a DSP system? So first thing, for a DSP system, we'll be having a analog input, and say we will be having say a analog output. So it depends on application to application. So how it goes ahead. Suppose analog input and analog output. So these all things come into play. Now suppose I don't want the analog signal, I just want the processed digital signal. So only up to this point I can mark it as a DSP system. So that is also possible. Or if I consider from this point to this point, also can be marked as a DSP system. Okay. So now, since the name itself tells digital signal processing, I have to process a signal which is in its digital form. So that is what I have to do. So first, for example, I have an analog signal which is given as input. So in this one, I'll be having the analog front end. So in this analog front end, what all possible things might come into existence is, these are the things which might come into existence. That is anti-aliasing filter, sample and hold, A to D converter. So here, what does anti-aliasing filter imply? Anti-aliasing filter is nothing but a low-pass filter in this case. Now, can anyone tell me what is meant by anti-aliasing, or what is meant by aliasing, first of all? Instead of me taking the names, if you come up with, and if you just specify, that will be well and good for me. Otherwise, I have to keep on taking names and it will be a waste of time. It is not that only same person has to answer every time. So anybody else also can just comment. If you know the answer, you just tell. Otherwise, it is not a problem. So what is basically meant by aliasing? Should I take the names now? Rahul, Mantesh. Rahul, Mantesh. Rahul Patil. Rajat. Yeah, who
That is
is?
the distortion created in a signal, sir.
Sorry?
The distortion created in a signal. The distortion, some error,
Distortion.
error type.
Error. Okay. Anybody can else correct him, or can add something to what he has informed, what Shoaib has informed? Rajesh Pattar. Okay. Well,
Overlapping, sir.
overlapping. Overlapping in terms of what? Mm,
Says one signal on another signal coming.
one signal on another signal. Okay. So can anybody tell actually when aliasing occurs? Can anyone just inform me or share the information? When does aliasing occur? Where do you come across this concept? Where do you hear this term? Aliasing. Priyanka Dhavleshwar. Pratik Kulkarni.
We sample signal low to the Nyquist, then aliasing may occur.
Okay, so you're close enough. That is, whenever so aliasing is a concept which comes when you're dealing with sampling. You're dealing with sampling. So if you're not satisfying the sampling theorem or Shannon's sampling theorem or Nyquist criteria, if you remember, that is Fs should be greater than equal to 2 times Fm. I think you have heard about this equation. So, so in that case, if you're not choosing a sampling frequency based on this condition, then what happens is you will be coming across with what is termed as aliasing. That is, there will be overlapping of the spectrum which is present. So whenever you sample, what happens is the spectrum gets repeated for the signal what you have considered. So when that happens, or when that thing is happening, aliasing is occurring. That is, there is a loss of information which happens. So that should not be happening. So now what happens is when I'm speaking, so my microphone might capture some things, and along with that, what happens is some noise might be present due to the capturing device itself, or some other noises due to the electronic equipments it might be introduced. So those frequencies might be high enough, and some of the frequencies might not be suitable. So what happens is such kind of frequencies have to be removed. They have to be removed. So in order to do that, what they do is they pass it through anti-aliasing filter, which removes all the, generally it is a low pass filter in this case. So it removes all the high frequency content which is not suitable for processing, which is not required actually for next stage. Suppose if I am speaking, we know that say the sound is in the range of say 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So it will not be beyond 20 kilohertz and it will not be less than 20 hertz. So it will be from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So any signal above 20k, about 20 kilohertz, so has to be removed. So such kind of processing or such kind of filters will be implemented in order to avoid the aliasing effect. Now sample and hold, what it does is once I have filtered, I pass it through sample and hold. What I'm doing is I'm using a sampling frequency to take the samples from the signal and hold those samples. So once I hold those samples, then I assign some digital that is zeros and ones to the sample value what I am having. So this gives rise to the digital signal. So once I get the digital signal, I pass it through the DSP processor, which might be having many of the features like multiply and accumulate together. Then I might be having bit reversed addressing concept implemented in the processor. Then apart from this, I might be having some other processes also, like say barrel shifter might be there. So when we go ahead with the next modules, right, there will be coming across these things. So these are the things what this DSP processor might have, and utilizing those, it might process the signal, and the output of this DSP processor is also a digital signal itself. But it is in processed form. It is in processed form. So now suppose I want to get back the analog signal. So after I have processed it, I have to get back the analog signal. So again, this is the analog backend. So in which I do the reverse of that. That is, I do the D to A conversion and I use the reconstruction filter. Now, why this reconstruction filter is? It is nothing but again it's a low pass filter. So if by chance something some additional noise has been put in, so in those cases, while processing or some other stuff, what might have happened is some high frequency content might have been introduced, even though I have removed it here, but there might be some problems when these things are happening. So if in that cases, again, I can use a filter over here and remove those distortions, and I'll be able to get back the analog signal. So this is the typical block diagram of a DSP system. But the in-depth detail of this will be dealing in the first module. So this is just a simple this thing: analog input, analog output, analog front end, analog back end, and in between we have a processor. And based on the output, we have a digital here, analog signal here, and analog signal here. Okay. So is it fine? Anyone can just reply back. Fine. So now what I'll do is I'll stop the session here. Okay. I'll stop the session here. In tomorrow's class, I'll continue and finish off with just the basics of DSP architecture subject. So then we'll start off with the regular syllabus part, what is present. Okay. So is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.